Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, have you ever heard of turbo debt?
No, what is that? Something to get me into debt faster?
No, turbo debt is not to get you in debt faster. It's to help you get out of debt. Do you have over $10,000 in credit card, personal loans, medical, or payday loans?
Of course I have debt. That's the American way.
Au contraire, mon frere. Turbo debt will give you the option to break the debt cycle and start putting money in your pocket.
That's awesome.
Over 70% of Americans die with credit card debt. Do not let this happen to you. Turbo debt will give you an option to break the debt cycle and start putting money in your pocket.
That's awesome.
If you have over $10,000 in credit card debt and personal loans, medical or payday loans, they can help. Go to turbodebt.com/techtime. Again, that's turbodebt.com/techtime, all capitalized, for a free consultation today. TurboDebt is a proud sponsor of this week's episode of TechTime Radio.
Broadcasting across the nation from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, Technology News of the Week, the show for the everyday person, talking about technology, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. We welcome our radio audience of 35 million listeners to an hour of insightful technology news. Each week, our show covers the weekly top technology subjects without a political agenda. We verify the facts, and we do it with a sense of humor in less than 60 minutes, and of course, with a little whiskey on the side. We live stream, of course, during our shows on all 5 of the most popular platforms, including YouTube, Twitch.tv, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We encourage you to visit us online at techtimeradio.com. You're going to want to visit techtimeradio.com today to get the deal of the week. I guarantee you will be talking about that in the Nugget. And you can also become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/TechTimeRadio. I'm Nathan Mumm, your host with the technologist of 30 years of technology expertise working for Fortune 500 companies across the country. My co-host here, Mike Roday, is an award-winning author, originally from Arizona. Mike's a human behavior expert living in the Seattle area with a master's degree in forensic psychology. Mike is here to keep me from geeking out while providing insight into human behavior and how it interacts with technology. We are 2 friends from different backgrounds, but bring the best technology show possible every week for our family, friends, and fans to enjoy. Welcome, everyone. Let's start today's show.
Now on today's show.
All right, today on Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, Amazon invades privacy at the cost of $30 million in fines from the FTC. Next, Apple's Vision Pro was released yesterday. The AR headset might bring virtual reality to the masses, but at what price? Speaking of Apple, we have Tim Cook's keynote, and we're going to drop the mic on machine learning that made 0 comments about AI. Our guest this week is Jonathon Hensley. He joins the show to talk about time to value and how we need to track this better. And Microsoft. What is going on as we list you in our technology fail of the week? All of these answers and more on today's show. In addition, we have, of course, our standard features, including Mike's mesmerizing moment, This Week in Technology, and a possible Nathan Nugget. And we have our pick of the day whiskey tastings during the commercials to see if our selected whiskey pick is 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up at the end of the show. So sit back, raise a glass, and welcome to the show. Now, it's time for the latest headlines in the world of technology.
Here are our top technology stories of the week.
All right, story number 1. Tim Cook and Apple take their first steps into VR headsets. With Alex Heath, he was on site to make the announcement regarding Apple and their VR headset. Let's go right now to the audio of what he has to say about this unit.
Apple just announced its long-rumored spatial reality headset. It's called the Vision Pro. It costs a whopping $3,500. This is by far the best-looking headset in this category. Apple's calling it spatial reality, but really it's mixed reality. It blends augmented reality, which is showing the world around you, with virtual objects, with full virtual reality. So think having a giant TV floating in front of you. The really distinct thing about this device, though, is this front-facing display. And what it can do is show your eyes as you're wearing the headset so that other people around you can see where you're looking in real space. Apple is really positioning this as a general computing device, similar to the MacBook or the iPhone. They want you to think of it for FaceTime, entertainment, gaming, productivity, even mental well-being. Right now, this is a device for the early adopter crowd that doesn't mind a spend.
All right. Will this headset be the one that everybody uses? That is the question. And I say absolutely.
You think they've just wiped up Meta?
So we're gonna talk about. So this is what they did. They announced this device. They're not going to sell it until 2024. It's a VR and augmented reality, so you still see the room that you're in, and it puts this big screen in front of you. And essentially, what we have here is almost two Silicon Valley companies going in two different directions. So we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit. Tim Cook talked about that in the keynote. But with this headset, it is $3,500 that it's going to come out with. So it's going to have very elite attraction at first. It's going to be the people with big money. It's going to be
or the Nathans that buy stuff like this,
or the Nathans. I don't know if I'm going to buy a headset, but I will tell you this will be at like escape room events where people will buy these, so you can go on and you can participate. And what Apple's done well, and we're going to talk about it, is they're 2 years behind everybody else. But instead of announcing a device and then saying, developers, we want you to work on it, they've been working with the developer companies for over a year now. They have 6 months for new startups to take care of and build towards this VR headset before they even release it. So when it comes out, instead of having, like Meta did with their Quest devices, instead of having 5-6 games for this new unit or 5 or 6 immersion type of settings, they're going to have a whole group of items that will be available in the developers. Now, Tim Cook is smart. This guy.
Well, this is departing from the video game format, right?
So it's a part. So it's a big screen. It's like a big screen.
Yeah, in the video game format, when they develop a video game, they're like, "Oh, we're developing this video," and then they try to hype it up, and then they put it out for testing, and everybody gets upset and mad, and then they keep pushing the date out.
Yeah, so they have now. This is interesting. The Silicon Valley is going two different ways. I kind of talked about. You got Google. And then you have Apple. Both of them are in the Silicon Valley area down in California. So essentially, this is what you have. Either Apple is going to own the market for these headsets, or they're going to be too late because they're 2 years behind everybody else with this real big announcements. They haven't announced anything. Sony PlayStation 3 had a device, and they've had a bunch of Hive devices for the PCs that you could get. You have the Quest device from Meta/Facebook company they could get, but they've actually waited so developers can begin the development of the unit. Now, here's what happened at the keynote. Google just last month, they had a huge big I/O keynote, and they mentioned AI 99 times in 2 hours, with most of the mentions talking about their new Pixel device is now going to not be called Pixel, but it'll be called the first AI mobile computer. It's going to deliver personal AI. Tim Cook at the WWDC 2023, which is their developers conference, so that's what they had, said 0 times the word AI.
Well, that's
never
good.
Mentioned it at all. Literally, he said that the company is working on some new technology areas, and a lot of the stuff that they're using is AI, but because he is so in touch with what the communities want, he knows that people don't want AI to take over. And so he actually talked about how he's implementing technology to ensure humans interact with computers and not a computer interacts with it, essentially downplaying the idea of AI, saying that Apple doesn't want to go down that whole platform in itself, but they'll come up with user interfaces that are more developed for the user themselves.
Okay.
So completely stayed away from it. He wants this device to be like an iPad and a Mac computer where you'd purchase this device for your home entertainment, for your television, for your viewing, and it will be a separate device that you have because your phone won't be able to do it and your computer won't be able to do what this has. It'll be a third key item in their portfolio.
Sounds fun.
I think this is
a Nathan item. I'm pretty sure.
I think Apple's going to get it right. And then what I think in the next 3 or 4 years, the price will move down from $3,500 to that $999 block price.
Yeah, sure. As soon as they crush Meta,
and so then they'll be at the 900, and then it'll probably be down to the $499, and they'll just sell it like a entertainment video game system, and this will be their video game total immersion system. All right.
Awesome.
All right. I'm pretty excited. I don't like being a big Apple winner, but man, when the guy does a keynote and never once says AI.
Is he this week's hero of yours?
Yeah, he's kind of becoming a hero of mine. I mean, he did it the right way.
It doesn't take a lot.
Apple decided not to release it when they didn't know how to work with it. They spent the time. All right, good luck, Apple. All right, I think you got an interesting AI story coming on up, Mike.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about AI because I guess that's what I get to do now is talk about AI.
Okay, well, what do you got on your list?
So, what would you do if you heard this story about an AI-enabled drone of the U.S. Air Force attacking its operator?
Attacking its operator?
Yeah. So
I'd be very scared. I would be like, what the heck are you talking about?
Right. So this is what everybody's freaking out about. This is why they're signing these safety accords and everything, right? So apparently there was this issue where this person, this colonel of the Air Force, who is the chief of AI test and operations in the U.S. Air Force.
Tucker Hamilton, right?
Oh, you're just going to put it out there,
Tucker,
huh?
yeah, Colonel Tucker Hamilton,
yeah. He was speaking at a conference organized by the Royal Aeronautical Society, and he described a simulation in which an AI-enabled drone was repeatedly stopped from completing its task of destroying surface-to-air missile sites by its human operator.
Okay.
So this drone had this mission, this AI-enabled drone had this mission to destroy these sites, and its operator kept saying, no, turn it away, right?
Okay.
He said at the end, despite having been trained not to kill the operator,
yep,
the drone then destroyed the communication tower so that the operator could no longer communicate with it.
That's a lot of detail.
Yeah.
Okay, so essentially, you have this AI drone. You tell them you can't kill humans, but essentially you need to end the task of having this communication with this person.
Yeah, so basically this drone decided it figured out what was the problem.
Yeah.
And because it couldn't go directly towards the operator, it took out his communication device.
Okay.
So
it sounds like a pretty smart drone that was able to come with it.
This is kind of the scary piece of this, right?
Yeah. Yep.
At any rate, this went viral.
Yes, it did.
And of
course,
supposedly
there's some video footage of it on the dark web of a scenario like this. I don't know if it's the footage of this test or not, but there is some type of footage that shows this type of drone going on out there talking in a communication tower. Yep.
Yes. So, and in full governmental fashion,
yep.
Right? Colonel Hamilton later clarified in a statement that we never ran that experiment, nor would we need to in order to realize that this is a plausible outcome and that he misspoke about the whole incident.
Oh, so he had all that detail.
Yeah.
He had all that detail, and now he's saying that he misspoke.
He basically said it was a thought experiment rather than anything that actually had occurred.
Okay.
So
he's in an interview with somebody, and he's talking about a thought experiment just in his head?
That's what he said.
Okay.
But, that's... I'll leave you to decide whether this is a few good men moment with slipping in the interview.
For all those that haven't seen A Few Good Men, what happens to Jack Nicholson there at the very end?
Oh yeah, you can't handle the truth, buddy.
Yeah, so he actually says that what happened did happen. So this colonel probably maybe did the same thing, and now he's recanting.
That may be what has happened.
We'll see if Colonel Hamilton is a colonel any longer in the next 4 to 5 weeks.
That doesn't really happen.
That doesn't happen?
No.
He won't be retired all of a sudden?
Probably not. He'll probably be moved.
Okay. All right.
He probably won't be in charge of that particular thing.
Probably not the drones anymore.
He has to go hang out in the lab.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of have an inclination to thinking that either this guy has some really delusional dreams, or maybe there were some tests that he probably shouldn't have been talking about online.
Again, this is just one of those additional fuel to the fire of the already controversial AI thing. I mean, this is they even set the world the doom clock ahead because of this new AI stuff.
And Tim Cook spoke nothing about it in his keynote. About
that was
AI.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah, that's strategic there. Don't tell me that Apple doesn't plan out how they have their conversations.
Apple's pretty smart about certain things.
Yeah, they kind of do.
I still don't like using their stuff, but I'm not going to say they don't know what they're doing.
How'd you like $30 million?
Well, I totally wouldn't want that.
You would want that. No, want that. Well, Amazon's going to have to pay more than $30 million in fines to settle the alleged privacy violation involving its voice assistant, Alexa, and now the doorbell camera Ring system, according to federal filings.
Now
they added that.
Oh.
So here, let's go right now to the NBC News on the latest on the Amazon $30 million payout.
Amazon is paying out something like $30 million in settlements for maybe violating the privacy of you and your kids. Turns out Amazon has to pay nearly $6 million as part of a settlement with the FTC, which says the company let workers and contractors access people's videos when it wasn't totally necessary for them to do their jobs. Also, Alexa. Amazon now has to fork over something like $25 million to settle allegations that Alexa violated the privacy rights of kids. The FTC says Amazon kept voice and location information of younger users for years. Amazon, in a statement saying to NBC News, while we disagree with the FTC's claims regarding both Alexa and Ring and deny violating the law, these settlements put these matters behind us.
Yeah, isn't that what happens? Yeah.
But this, I'm going to pay you $30 million for you to forget it. So this is the lawsuit. The FTC claims, and they have so much proof. So when you get a Federal Trade Commission involved of finding someone and coming to them and the company paying out, I mean, the FTC does not have technical experts. They do not have great whistleblowers that are inside people. This is hard data facts that are available. Well, it looks like if you've been using your Alexa since 2019, it's probably all of your recordings, even though you asked them to be deleted, are probably still
every time I yell at
saved.
So every time I yell at Alexa, that's recorded, and
that's
Amazon
recorded.
Gets to hear
even
me
though you said delete
it,
it's probably wasn't deleted. Amazon says it uses recordings to better understand speech patterns and respond to voice commands and complaints. Amazon said in the statement it disagrees with the findings, does not believe it violated any laws. We take our responsibilities to our customers and their families very seriously. We have consistently taken steps to protect customer privacy by providing clear privacy disclosures. Yeah, good job, Sidewalk. And customer controls, conducting outgoing audits and process improvements, and maintaining strict internal controls to protect customer data.
I'm not really sure that's going on.
No,
my
the company
Alexa is
said
worse.
It requires parental consent for its children profiles. More than 800,000 children under the age of 13 have an Alexa accounts, according to the complaint, and a lot of these can be purchased on the dark web, onion sites for creepers for minimal dollars. So let me just tell you, these recordings from Ring, they have privacy stuff from Ring where they shouldn't have had Ring cameras. Sometimes they use a Ring camera for your door. Sometimes you use Ring camera for something else. You're going to take a look at your Amazon Alexa? See if you have it for deleting. Even though you have it for deleting your information on Alexa, they probably didn't delete it. Now, essentially, if you had a child profile that you deleted within the last 18 months, all the data was kept available. And for about $4 to $5, Mike, you can get a recording of a kid doing anything that they want in their room on any of the Alexa devices. Now, the reason they got caught is because they had contractors going on in, and they were actually splicing and putting together video compilations.
Compilations.
Thank you. Well, they were complicated, but compilations. And they were essentially sharing those on social media sites for the world to see. So just think of this. If you have a young kid that has an Alexa device and maybe you told them a story or sang to them and they're playing in your room, that all of a sudden some contractor decided to download all these files and sell them on the dark web for creepers to buy. There you go. Amazon probably should delete your information when you say you're going to. Well, that ends our top technology stories of the week. Moving on to our next segment, we have a special guest from the Pacific Northwest. We have Jonathon Hensley. Jonathon is originally, I got Phil Hennessy on the show last week. So it's Hensley. I got it. Originally from Silicon Valley, Jonathon got into the digital product space inspired by the people developing new technologies all around him. Curiosity continued to drive him today as he works to help businesses harness technology. How can you leverage your time to value better? Have you ever measured your time to value? Do you know what time to value is?
Explain what that means.
Okay, well, we're going to come on back after this break, and Jonathan is going to explain that. Now, you're listening to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm. See you after these breaks. Hello, listeners. We're excited here at TechTime Radio, aren't we, Mike?
Oh, no.
We have an announcement to make starting in June. We're really excited to be a part of an internet radio station. That's right. Coming up in June, you will still be able to listen to us live here at Kixie 880 and KKNW and all of our affiliate stations. But you'll be able to listen to us at 8 a.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday now. We look forward to this new opportunity to provide you TechTime Radio every weekday. And again, you can always catch us online at techtimeradio.com. Welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Tech Time is a weekly hour technology show that talks about current technology in a simple format without having to geek out. Brought to you by myself, Nathan Mumm, and Mike Day. We just had our first whiskey tasting during the break, and now let me tell you about what we are sipping in our pick of the day during the show today. We have chosen the proper number 12 Irish apple whiskey. It's 70 proof, so it's not quite at that 80 proof level. $29.95. Essentially, the proper number 12 Irish apple is a blend of proper number 12 Irish whiskey and a sweet tart Irish apple punch that is smooth to the core. It's friendly and straightforward and is best enjoyed straight due to its crisp, fresh Irish apple finish. It's bottled by Proximo Spirits out of Bushmills, Ireland. It's a flavored Irish whiskey, at least 3 years of aging. And what was your first liking to this, Mike?
Well, I'm sorry, Mark, but I like it.
You're going to like this?
Yes.
I'm liking
very
this a
tasty.
lot. I liked
But
this.
then again, you know, this is a flavored whiskey, and I like
Mark's too much of a purist, right? So I'm sure,
Well,
I don't know if he likes
okay.
it or not. My guess is going to be he doesn't like it.
Well, we will find out.
We'll find out because he does not like anything with taste, right? He wants you to be able to have your whiskey and then mix the taste. But I'll tell you, if this was on my shelf here,
it wouldn't be there.
It wouldn't be there very long.
No,
that's right.
That's like Screwball. It
probably is. It's kind of up there on the Screwball level. You know that?
Yeah.
I'm thinking so too. I tasted some last night, but I don't want to tell you that. Okay, all right, here we go.
I already know that. You always do anyway.
With our first whiskey tasting completed, now let's move on to our feature segment. We have with us on our Comcast video line, Jonathon Hensley, a co-founder and CEO of Emerge, a digital product consulting firm that works with companies to improve operational agility and customer experiences. I had a chance to talk with Jonathon a while back, and I liked his insight on creating time to value and his insight on how this would make a significant improvement in the technology space. We're excited to have him on our show. Let's start our Ask the Expert segment now.
This is a segment we call Ask the Experts.
All right, as we bring Jonathon on up here. Jonathon, when we last talked, we got a nice conversation that we talked about the function of value and time to value, how it related to technology. We also used some cars as an example. So the very first lead-in, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Nathan and Mike. I've really been looking forward to this.
All right, great. And now you're from the Pacific Northwest, is that correct?
Yeah, Portland, Oregon.
Portland, Oregon. All right. Well, you know, keep Portland strange. Isn't that kind of their motto down there?
I don't know.
I think that's kind of their motto. That's what I see in the ads that we have here. So, Jonathon, as we went to commercial break, what is time to value and why do companies not track this traditionally?
So time to value is understanding the amount of time it takes for a customer or a user of your product to actually receive the benefit that you intend from that product or service. And so it's a very important metric that often gets missed because organizations can get really consumed by thinking about the features they deliver or the solutions, but losing line of sight to how do you actually develop the product to anchor it towards the actual maximum amount of value that's created in that experience. And that can also easily get used with, where product value is being created and how that drives business outcomes usually the connection there is also lost for many organizations. And so those things get pretty messy pretty quick, and they need to be peeled apart in a pretty mature and advanced organization usually to do that. And I think during these times, you're seeing that startups, boards of directors, venture capital groups are really recognizing that this is something they have to be paying attention to from the get-go.
Okay, that's good to know. So let's kind of talk about functional values and companies that do well in this. All right. So when we talk about the time to value, what would be a company that would do traditionally well in this space, that really kind of hone into this, that other companies, and then we'll talk about how we can use it for technology. But let's talk about some of the great successful companies.
I think two come to mind, and the first would be Apple. Apple's really always understood that meeting the needs of customers quickly and succinctly is really important, increasing that time to value. And I think earlier in the show, as we were talking about Tim Cook's, keynote and talking about what they're doing with the developer community, VR, AR headset, it's a great example of recognizing that time to value is critical. If they put out this new hardware without collaborating with developers in advance, it would just become a really expensive one. And in order to actually drive adoption of this product, where there's been similar products out there before, they need to really value delivery that comes from what you can do with that device from day one.
So I was at Microsoft when the original Xbox came out, and I worked on the hardware and the aspects of the original Xbox. And do you know what we did not do well at Microsoft? We did not understand what our customers want. We thought we knew that they wanted this programmable CE device, and we did not spend the right amount of time for the original Xbox release to release it correctly. The only thing that probably saved us, and I can ask Jonathon a little bit about this if he knows that, was that we made the system so hackable that people could come on in, and we knew that on purpose, that you could come on in and you could load XBMC on it, all these other applications on it, these other mods at the time, that we were giving it to the community, hoping that our hardware platform would work for the community of geeky gamers to hack away with it to be able to actually use the system itself.
Oh, so you guys are the ones.
Well, so we essentially at Microsoft, we didn't promote piracy, but what we did do is we made it so easy to use the system that I think that's the only reason to this day that the original Microsoft Xbox and the Xbox that it is today was successful, is because of the community. But I don't think we did it the right way, like Apple would have done if they would release a device itself. So I'm sorry. There you go. It just brings back. I don't understand why people do that. Okay,
just had some trauma there.
I did. Jonathon just exposed some trauma of not processing things correctly. All right, so let's talk about now functional value. There's another thing here that you talk about is functional value. What's the difference between functional value and time to value?
So there's two dimensions of value that are really important to understand in product. And the first one is, as you said, is functional value. So the way to think about functional value, what are the features or the capabilities that you're providing your customer to complete a task or achieve a goal? And so think of a platform like Airbnb. There's many tasks you need to go through in order to complete a booking, but the actual features are critical in order to enable the goal of finding a destination and a place to stay with friends or family. So those capabilities add up to be the functionality of the platform. And that's where we create value, and value is being incrementally unlocked as we provide access to these different capabilities in the platform.
All right, so that was the first one. What's the second key value?
The second one is psychological value. And this one, I think, is the one that's probably missed most often by product teams. And so this is really understanding, what's the psychological benefit that you can provide, and how can you compete effectively with your competition? So, when I used a car analogy, like Volvo. Volvo's known around the world for safety. They make cars. Their car and the technology, the features that they put in those vehicles is constantly evolving and changing. But the actual core functional, or psychological value that they're providing is a commitment to safety. Whereas they might be competing with Toyota, whose primary psychological value driver is around reliability. And so you see this equally in great software companies. I think Dropbox is a really another fantastic example of this, understanding both the psychological and functional value. I mean, they really understand that they're providing a file sharing platform to build community, to bring teams together and to enable collaboration. And those abilities and the need in order to facilitate that has an emotional value as much as it does the functional value of driving that. And they've built some of their feature set and their customer experience around making that happen as quickly as possible.
So let's talk about Dropbox.
So functional value is it does what it's supposed to do.
Correct.
And psychological value is it does what I need it to do.
Correct. So we, for the show here, to send all my information to my producer before the show, music and edits and names and all this information. What's that?
Memes.
And memes. We use Dropbox, right? So it is a very simple tool. Now I pay for a Microsoft 365 subscription. I don't use any of the Microsoft OneDrive items. I have the ability to have other file share systems that are out there, but Dropbox is one of the simplest places to get that information and have it function, kind of like my Zoom. I have Microsoft Teams I can use for that. I actually pay $19 more a month just so I have the ability to have Zoom, because it's easier to use, to share, and for people to connect with. So Jonathan, is this how software companies can succeed? How do you find that functional value versus the psychological value to create a new product?
Well, I mean, first off, it starts with having to understand not just what your customers want to be able to do, but actually what drives the motivation to do those things, and understanding then where you're capable of competing effectively. I think in Dropbox's case, they've done a phenomenal job of understanding that if you want to bring team members together, then you need to enable that collaboration as fast as possible, keep it simple, and get as many people sharing files as quickly as possible before you introduce the concept of needing to pay for that service. And so that becomes a really critical thing. And they measure that. They look at things like, well, how many gigabytes of data have been uploaded? How many users are participating before they'll start to try to push that conversion and making you a paid customer, because they understand that there's an innate quality of their platform that requires multiple team members to be able to come together to drive the value of the actual product and be willing to pay and use that service ongoing. I think there's also some really fascinating things happening. In your last episode, you had a great discussion on the benefits of kind of what Bing AI versus ChatGPT are doing. And, your guest highlighted, for example, Bing's capabilities of highlighting resources. Well, that brings a huge psychological advantage to the other options that are out there of thinking, when we think about confidence. Where is the data coming from? How can and they're giving a path to self-verification. That's a great way for Microsoft to differentiate themselves and leverage that technology to tap into a whole different audience that is looking for that specific use case and that value to be delivered.
And that is true, because I used ChatGPT first, and I liked it because it was such a cool type of deal. I only use Bing now. I literally hardly use Google anymore for any of my stuff. I'm using Bing, and I'm using the chat features. And when I ask for something on chat, it does come up with the 3 or 4 references. And what I'm noticing is, instead of me believing all the Chat GPT stuff, I'll go down to the references that they have available there.
Professor Mumm.
Well, yeah, not like Professor Mumm from from Texas, but I actually go through and I click on the references, and then I'll go to that location and find out more information. I mean, this helped me with an international package that I had to pay some additional. I was sending something to Portugal, and to actually pay for this tariff tax that I had no clue. I couldn't find any information about it, and they actually gave me the sources. So, okay. So, Jonathan, if I'm a technology company And I'm trying to make sure that my psychological value and functional value work for the product I'm going to be doing. How do I get in touch with you? What would you be able to do? We have lots of tech companies, especially small startup tech companies that are listening to the show. What would they be able to get from your company, and what can you help them provide as a service in what you do each and every day?
Well, the things that we can help any tech company with, whether they're a startup or they're a Fortune 100 brand, is to really help them map where that time to value is taking place in their product and identifying the areas of opportunity to deliver on that value, not just once, but how it gets reinforced and drives retention long-term in their product. And so we end up working with a lot of founders and startups, as well as mature product companies that are really looking to increase the effectiveness of their product and market fit. And so we love doing that type of work with anybody who wants to engage and work with us and go through a consulting workshop or engage us in a larger project.
Perfect. All right, Jonathon, thank you so much for joining the show today. And people can get in touch with you, an email address or a website. Where can they go to for that call to action?
They can visit us at emergeinteractive.com. Also, reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I would love to connect and see how we could help.
And we'll absolutely share him as a guest on TechTime Radio so you can find out more information from him. Jonathon,
all right,
thanks again for being on the show. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a great day.
All right, that ends our segment, Ask the Expert. Up next, we have This Week in Technology. So now would be a great time to enjoy a little whiskey on the side, as we will be doing during the break. You're listening to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm. See you in a few minutes.
This is Marc
and Greg
for Copiers Northwest
with a terrific offer
called Printer Care Plus.
It's simple. Buy HP printer cartridges from Copiers Northwest and we'll service your current printers for free.
That sounds too good to be true.
It's made possible due to our HP Copiers Northwest relationship.
Copiers Northwest is an HP Platinum partner,
one of only 2 in the entire Northwest.
And now with Printer Care Plus,
Copiers Northwest will provide free printer service
as long as they purchase genuine HP cartridges from Copiers Northwest.
That's right. IT departments no longer have to service printers
or fix paper jams with Printer Care Plus.
They can focus on more strategic initiatives
and let our experienced technicians keep their HP printers up and running.
Sounds like a love-love relationship for IT departments.
Don't get too carried away. So how do they get more details on Printer Care Plus?
Call Copiers Northwest today, 206-282-1200, or visit copiersnw.com.
Copiers Northwest. New ideas, new solutions.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
All right, we're going back in the Wayback Machine here to June 6, 2009. Palm Inc. Do you remember Palm?
I remember Palm Pilots.
There you go. Okay, Palm Inc. releases the Palm Pre smartphone through Sprint in an attempt to regain the market share after their Trio line of smartphones that is now dwarfed by the Apple's iPhone. Featuring the Linux-based Palm WebOS operating system, the Pre received some praise from technical reviews, but due to poor marketing and the rapid pace of which Apple dominated the world at the time, the smartphone failed. Palm's series of phones and the WebOS never really have a chance to gain a foothold.
Could that have been a problem with time to value?
That would have been a big time to value, and understanding exactly why the psychology of what they were trying to do was important. Within the course of a year, Palm was purchased by HP because Hewlett Packard thought they could save him for $1.2 billion. A year later, just 2 months after the abysmal sales of the touchpad tablets, because they came out with their own Palm
I remember those
too. HP halted production of all WebOS-based devices. HP later released WebOS under an open source license, sold the operating system to electronic manufacturer LG, and the WebOS and Palm patents to Qualcomm. Today, LG licensed the WebOS from Qualcomm as the operating system for their smart televisions, smart refrigerators, and smart projectors. WebOS also lives on in many open source forums. So essentially, it didn't quite make it. It didn't do what it needed to be done, but now people are reusing it for tons of different IoT devices in the open source freeware versions that are available.
Wahoo.
There you go. All right. Well, that was This Week in Technology. Have you ever wanted to watch some Tech Time history with over 2 years of video, podcasts, and blog information? You can visit techtimeradio.com to watch our older shows or join the Tech Timers Facebook group to talk with us live all the time. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we have Marc's Mumble Whiskey Review and our technology fail of the week. Microsoft is up next. We'll see you after the break.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and my life's work is connecting people with coffee. StoriCoffee is a small batch specialty coffee company that uses technology to connect people to each product resource, which allows farmers to unlock their economic freedom. Try our Medium Roast Founder Series coffee, which is an exotic bourbon variety that is smooth, fresh, and elegant at StoriCoffee.com. That's STORI coffee.com. Today you can get your first bag free when you subscribe at StoriCoffee.com with code TechTime. That's STORI coffee.com.
The segment we've been waiting all week for. Marc's Whiskey Mumble.
I had some.
Right, yours is all gone.
Yes, it's already gone.
We still got one more commercial break.
It's a little interesting that we're drinking apple flavored whiskey because you know what today is?
What is today?
National Applesauce Cake Day.
That's what?
I've never heard of this, so I don't know.
Apple what?
National Applesauce Cake Day.
Applesauce Cake Day. There's a day for applesauce. Who the heck makes an applesauce cake?
I don't know. This cake gained some immense popularity among Americans during colonial times in New England region, but it was during World War I when applesauce cake became the favorite dessert of American house. I've never heard of this.
I've never heard of this either.
Yeah, during
I've heard of
wartime, apple cake or apple pie.
Apple pie, but I haven't heard of applesauce cake.
I've never heard of. During wartime, applesauce cake was prepared by American housewives because of food shortages. Soon it gained a reputation as a patriotic food and without.
You didn't know. See, we're learning a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we're learning. This is real learning stuff for you guys out there today.
Okay.
So, National Applesauce Cake Day.
All right.
Speaking of,
yeah,
let's talk about proper number 12 Irish apple whiskey. Professional mixed martial artist and UFC star Conor McGregor founded the proper number 12 Irish whiskey in 2018. A Dublin native, McGregor named the whiskey for the Dublin suburb of Crumlin, postal code 12, where he grew up. McGregor worked with master distiller David Elder, formerly of Guinness, to select a final blend of grain whiskey and single malt whiskey after trying nearly 100 blends.
Okay.
In 2021, McGregor and his partner sold their majority stake to Proximo Spirits, which owns Bushmills and Jose Cuervo, for a deal that was reportedly worth upwards of $600 million.
All right.
In 2023, proper number 12 launched a green apple flavored whiskey. And here's what Marc has to say about it.
Okay.
Though standard proper number 12 has been slammed as undrinkable, the Whiskey Tube and online reviewers have been singing the praises of apple whiskey. Marc is not one of them and vehemently disagrees with them. The apple whiskey is also undrinkable. It is the only whiskey in Marc's memory he has actually spit out.
Oh, he spit it out.
Though the aroma is very nice, bright green apple. As Marc tries to sip, he gets notes of Band-Aid, turpentine, and medicine, and it is astringent while being sickly sweet. This was Marc's nice.
He says he tastes Band-Aids in here.
Yeah, this is his nice description of it.
This is a nice description.
I want to hear Marc, I want to hear your not nice description of it.
How is he tasting bad? I don't get any of those tastes in there at all. Okay. Are you sure that he wasn't drinking something else and he put this in here?
I don't know what he's filtering.
Okay. All right. Okay.
If anyone in the studio can even take a second sip, the bottle is yours to keep. I guess I get the bottle.
Oh, wow. If I knew that. Okay.
Otherwise, today is also Caves and Karst Day. Dump the bottle in the deepest, darkest cave you can find. So apparently Marc is not really a fan of this. I mean, but in general, we know Marc doesn't really care much.
This may be in one of the top whiskeys of the year.
We have to differentiate some things here, right?
There is a
we
taste
talked about it
so,
earlier.
Okay.
Marc is not much of a flavored whiskey fan.
Yeah.
And we've sampled several flavored whiskeys on the show, and some of them are really gross.
Yep.
Some of them are really good. I like this one. I don't find it that sickly sweet. So my taste preference does not fall into the turpentine Band-Aid realm.
No.
So
no, I would actually own bottles of this and serve it at a 4th of July event.
Well, apparently, I get this.
Oh, I guess you get it. Clearly, I won't be serving it to Mark if he comes to my 4th of July event. There you go. All right. Mark, thanks for the mumble as always. Whiskey and technology are
I still want to hear the not nice review.
A fork and spoon. Right, Mike?
A spork?
A fork and spoon. That's right. All right. Let's get ready for our technology fail of the week, brought to you by Elite Executive Services.
We are out of time. Congratulations. You're a failure.
Oh. I failed. Did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
All right. Did you try to use Microsoft Outlook yesterday?
Yes.
Did it work for you?
Yes.
It did. Well, then you're one of the very few. Microsoft technology is failing hardcore right now. Let me tell you, Outlook was down again this week, not only once, but twice yesterday. Frustrating 503 errors when trying to access the accounts, and outage affected numerous Outlook users globally and all of the Office 365 suite, impacting their ability to send emails and manage calendars. While Microsoft assured users that the issue was being addressed and the service went down again, causing more frustration. We now know why this happened. The latest attack was from a pro-Russian hacktivist group. Anonymous Sudan claims to have started a new campaign dedicated to targeting U.S. companies and infrastructure. The Sudan-based hacker group began posting images of the alleged handiwork on the group's encrypted Telegram channel around 10 a.m. Eastern Monday morning. All right.
I didn't experience any of that. Mine worked just fine.
It worked just fine. Maybe you got
a personal one, but at work it was fine.
It was fine. Okay, that's you know what?
Mine isn't working right now.
Well, I think your IT staff probably sent you something, and I know that they are still having problems to this minute. So if you ask your good old help desk techs, I'm sure that they'll
call Anonymous Sudan. They always have really good customer service lines.
Well, all hacker groups do. That's the best. They're the best.
They have the best customer service ever.
That's right. If you want customer service, they went to the Disney School of Be Our Guest Magics. They knew exactly what's going on.
They have better structure than most corporate environments.
They do. We're gonna well, that's because if you don't do well, you just disappear. All right, we're gonna head out to our last commercial break. When we return, we still have Mike's mesmerizing moment and the Nathan Nugget that you are gonna want to go to our website and get. It is free, absolutely free. So sit back, raise a glass. You're listening to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
How to See a Man About a Dog. It combines darkly comic short stories, powerful poems, and pulp fiction prose to create a heartbreaking and hilarious journey readers will not soon forget. Read How to See a Man About a Dog, collected writings, for free with Kindle Unlimited. Ebook available on Kindle, print copies available on Amazon, the Bookpository, and more.
This is Mike's mesmerizing moment, presented by StoriCoffee. Visit StoriCoffee.com.
All right, Mike, here's your mesmerizing question. How do you measure success with your time? We just had our expert on, Jonathon.
Okay, that's a little bit weird of a way to ask that question. What are you talking about success with my time? Are you talking about with technology, or are you talking about
how do you measure success with your time? So if you let's say you have a weekly schedule, how would you measure success for the time that you have in your schedule?
How do I measure success by when it's Friday night? That's how I measure success.
Is that how you measure
my
success?
Time. Yeah. I mean, this is what my point is. My point is that our perception of time and our personalities are what determine what we think of time management.
Okay.
Right. But if we're talking about like time in relation to technology, that's the promise of technology. So success in time with technology is that it works when I need it to work. And I don't have to fuss with things like reloading my printer settings because my printer is not working, or trying to get Alexa to hone in on what I'm asking it to do instead of trying to figure out what I'm doing based on some algorithm that says, hey, most people ask this question when they're saying this, which really drives me up a wall.
All right, so you got yourself a Roomba vacuum.
I do have a Roomba.
Now, does that technology purchase, is that value for you, for your success on the time that you would have spent previously vacuuming? to have that Roomba vacuum your
Yes,
Okay.
because even though it's not like the best thing in the world,
correct.
it does the job that I need it to do, and I don't have to physically do it.
Okay.
So that's the promise of technology. That's where they give us this promise that says we're going to give this technology to you to make your life better, and as long as it does that, that's a success. Because I can sit here right on my phone and program it right now to clean my apartment right now
And have it ready to go.
and have it ready to go. Of course, I would get home and it would be flipped over and smoking and all that other stuff because that's just how life works. But
Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. I think I measure success in my time on how much time I have to independently think without a technology device. I don't know if that increases.
So what are you saying? You're a Luddite when it comes to success with time?
Well, no, because I'm always with technology. So when I actually get to
take a break from technology,
from all of technology.
I was telling this to somebody yesterday that my best thing would be to just end up on a Caribbean beach somewhere where I have no connectivity to anything, and I could just walk on the beach forever.
Just walk on the beach forever?
Yeah.
And then never have to worry about anything?
That would be success in time for me.
Okay, there you go. All right, okay. There you go. Well, that was Mike's mesmerizing moment. Now, get ready, because we're going to move into the Nathan Nugget of the Week.
This is your Nugget of the Week.
All right, so I'm all about getting free stuff, right?
Yes. You're all cheap.
I'm frugal.
He's frugal.
Frugal. Thank you, Odie. That's how we like to call it.
That's just another word for cheap.
Oh, we like to say frugal. We're
frugal.
We're attentive to budgeting.
Yeah, why don't you use the word plethora in some?
So we're going to get through a plethora of information here. So you're going to need to take down your notes. All right.
Cheap.
So now you can get 2 years of free Grubhub Plus. Are you familiar with Grubhub Plus?
No, but it has a plus on the end, so I'm familiar with that part of it.
There you go. You were one of the very first people to just start naming everything plus.
Yeah, I told you this was going to happen. Right?
Yeah, we
3
did.
years ago, I told you this was going to happen.
South Park came out with an episode. They had plus on everything, and I'm like, Mike was ahead of his time when he said that.
Yes, it's incredible.
All right, well, this Grubhub Plus is free if you have Amazon Prime. To get this deal, though, you can go to techtimeradio.com and click on the top header deal of the week right now. It's not easy to get this link. You can't necessarily find it all over everywhere. So go
if I
to
have Amazon Prime, shouldn't I be able to get that?
Yeah. So do you have Amazon Prime right now?
Absolutely.
So you go to techtimeradio.com, click on deal of the week. As of today, just started this morning, a new and existing Prime members, so you don't have to just be a new member, but existing Prime members will get 2 years free of Grubhub Plus when you sign up. That's a saving of $240 or $9.95 per month. Grubhub Plus membership for 2 years is available. Okay. You can activate it now. Now, in the age of food delivery, the one thing that always gets us is the expensive delivery fees. Paying almost double of your dish of the fees is no fun, but Amazon is offering the solution via a new partnership with Grubhub Plus, which allows both existing and new Prime members alike to get 2 year entries worth of Grubhub for free. That's $240 worth of Grubhub's premium subscription, only from Amazon, the best services available for you.
Yeah.
Plus, I didn't cut and paste that from their site.
Let me talk about psychology here for a second,
Plus,
buddy.
you'll be saving on all those delivery fees. Now, also, so if you sign up and you actually do an offer on Grubhub Plus, if you use the code 25 for dad, that's 25 FOR dad, you'll get an additional 25% off of any order, 20% or more. Only valid through June 18th. So you got to sign up soon. The Grubhub free plus service will end July 5th. So you got to sign up for this like today.
So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to go home and I'm going to sign up for this.
Okay.
And I'm probably going to use Grubhub like once.
Well,
and in 2 years, I'm going to be hit with a $240
no, there's no fee. It's just a free fee. There's no reoccurring fee.
So this isn't
free.
Put your card in here and win this.
They just give it to you because you have Amazon Prime for free. So this is what
that's good. That's a good clarification there because that's usually how this thing.
Because I'm very frugal. I did my research to ensure that was
cheap.
That was correct. Now, essentially, this is the deal for everybody. Go sign up. Then the money you would have spent on those delivery fees, tip your driver, will you?
I always overtip the drivers.
I always tip the drivers.
But
Tip because that's how they make their money.
Uber Eats is doing something similar. I just got
an Uber Plus thing.
Yeah,
too?
I got an Uber Plus. I don't know if it's Uber Plus, but they sent me something the other day that said, "Hey, we're doing this now."
Okay.
Uber Premium or some crap like that.
There you go. Well, sign up for it free. That's the most important. Now, Mike, we're almost out of
take
time.
my butt plus down to the restaurant plus and eat some dinner plus.
All right, now let's go to our pick of the day
for our whiskey tastings. Let's see what bubbles.
Man,
to the
I drank
top.
a lot of this whiskey.
That was pretty bad.
This is, but you know what's not bad is this whiskey. This is the proper number 12 Irish apple whiskey, 70 proof, $29.95. I give it 2 thumbs up. Fantastic.
I'm going to give it a thumbs up. Yeah, I like it.
All right, go grab your bottle
Marc.
today. All right, the science of tomorrow starts with technology of today. See you guys next week.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/TechTimeRadio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week. Fantastic week. Fantastic week. Fantastic week. Fantastic week.